Good morning, good afternoon, or whenever it may be for you. I just really wanted to come back and make sure that I tied up what I started with this Miracles and Magic. I don't know if I'm gonna call it a series. It's only 3 videos, but because in my last video in part 2, I said I would come back. I just wanted to just wrap everything up. Otherwise, it just feels like it's just hanging or lingering or unfinished, right? I hope that you have been doing well since you've last been here. I did a video after Miracles and Magic Part 2 where I was in a very interesting place, okay? And working through some stuff and basically decided to just give myself some time to allow myself to be where I was so that I could do just that, just work through it, right? And take all the pressures off, which were all mine, right? I was putting the pressure on myself. And that's usually the case. Usually the feeling of pressure is self-imposed. There are times when maybe that's not. There's some outside influences like work or family or things like that. But usually you're the one, right, doing it to yourself. So I let myself off the hook. I gave myself some grace, allowed myself to do some healing, shadow work. I was doing all the things, and I was actually in a course, taking a course or a part of this class that was very beneficial. It was very helpful in me working through some things, right? A 4-month intensive course. Intensive makes sense. It was intense. But it has helped me to get where I am now. And despite the fact that I'm still, which I think I said before, like when you understand certain things and you get to a place where you've applied the knowledge that you've gained in terms of navigating, right? Troubled waters, conflict, difficulty, right? You're gonna have those moments, but inevitably you get back to a state of internal peace despite what's going on around you, right? So I can say happily that that's where I'm at in this moment. Back feeling balanced, grounded, and at peace. Okay. So I want to quickly, because it's already been 3 minutes of me rambling, I want to wrap up my thought process or where I was going in terms of miracles and magic. I feel like I said all the things, but I know that I was talking about maybe sharing more practical examples from my own life. I think I'll just summarize them and then just put a little bow on it, right? And basically, I was saying that I have been at different places in my life where this whole idea of where you are mentally and emotionally will reflect in your everyday life. The proof will be in the pudding, so to speak, right? So I have the evidence, and that's what it is. Life is evidence. Life is data. It is letting you know exactly where you are internally, okay? Because it literally is a reflection of you, right? So what's going on with you, how you feel, and I mean, just think about that. I mean, we think it's the other way around. We think that things are going well, and so, oh, I'm just so happy. Now I'm in a good mood. Now I'm in a good place. But in actuality, it's you being in a good place, you being in a good mood, you being in a good state of mind that is allowing you to experience in the 3D outside of you a day or experiences that reflect that, right? Because if you think about it, people all around you could be having a good time. Let's say it's a party or something, right? But if you're in a bad mood because you got some bad news, are you going to enjoy that party? Now, if you're able to shift your energy or put it to the side or say, I'm not going to worry about that right now, and are able to do that, you can still enjoy the party. But think of how many times you're in a state, something happens, it throws you off, and now your day is reflective of that, right? So it really is. I'm not saying that outside things can't affect you. What I am saying is that whether or not you allow it to continue to affect you is completely up to you. It has the potential. It's just a thing. News is just news. It's neutral. All of these things are really neutral, right? It is how you feel about them that gives them the feeling of being bad, harmful, whatever it is, sad, whatever, right? And if you think about, like, there's things that multiple people have experienced, but because of where they were, they didn't have the same experience concerning that thing. That can be, they could have suffered some of the same things in a relationship. And for one person, it was like empowering, and then they liberated themselves. For another person, it could be devastating, and they felt like it disempowered them. But they may have experienced a lot of the exact same things within that relationship. Same thing with, like, say, losing someone, right? Depending on where a person is with that person, with loss itself and how they look at things, like, it can affect them and impact them, right? It's still loss, right? They both maybe lost a parent, or they lost a sister or someone close to them. But the way that it affects them is going to be dependent on where they're at mentally, right? How they look at this thing. What's their relationship mentally and emotionally with that thing, that situation, that person, that occurrence? That's what determines that, right? So I said this was going to be quick. I don't know why I'm going into all of this. But anyway, so my whole thing was, earlier on in my life, when I was in my early 20s, I talked about some of this. So I'm going to summarize it. When I was in a place where I was still very much connected to my religious upbringing, and I talked about that, all of that, and where I was, but how, as I got older, and now I'm coming into my, adulthood, and a lot of different things that happen over the course of time, it helped to shift my relationship with religion. And I eventually got to a place where I was able to trust my own understanding of it. So I was still very much in it. And it benefited me, right? And I think it really started to benefit me because of that shift, right? Because of the way that I started to look at things. And so I felt loved, and I trusted that I was loved, and the way I felt about myself, right, was changing. At the same time, I also had put myself first in terms of this tumultuous, I'll just say dramatic relationship I was in, which I was bringing a lot of the drama. And I finally let go. I released it. I put myself first. I made some decisions about what I thought I deserved. And so ultimately that allowed me then, because of the state of mind I was in, to experience something completely different. What I started to attract in my life was completely different, right? So I feel like I'm saying a lot of the same things, because the bottom line is, and I'll say this real quick and then I'll come right back to the bottom line, because I said I was going to give examples. I'm going to say it. I have manifested apartments with perfect location. I've moved to another state where I didn't know anybody, wind up meeting my best friend, wind up having a community of people. I was safe. I was able to work because I had a community center with an after school program for my daughter that was literally downstairs in the building that I lived in. I kept getting all of these different job opportunities. The exact car that I wanted, actually it wasn't the exact make and model that I thought I wanted, but it wound up being close. And it was like brand new, at least to me it was. But I'm telling you, like inside out, it was a beautiful car. Low mileage, I could afford it, even though my credit at that time was shaky because I was still working on it. But because of the job that I was in, working with the community, the what is it called? Credit union that they wound up, trying to get credit for me from, they were like, man, we want to give her a chance because we think the work she's doing is great, right? Like the things that just lined up for me because of where I was at that time. And I feel like, I manifested this condo, 2-bedroom, 2-bath. It was huge. It was nice. It had, it was in a really nice side of town, really nice building with all of these amenities, 2 heated underground parking spaces, a huge storage room, pool, workout room, all of this included, all for $800. You cannot beat that. Like there's no way, even back then, that would have been very hard to come by. But the fact that I had decided that I was worth that and I was not going to compromise on what I wanted, it was just what I felt like I deserved. It was where I was in my life in terms of just like, this is what I desire. I believe I desire it, and I'm not budging. I almost took something that wasn't what I wanted, and I was like, nope. And almost a couple of days later, if it was even a whole 2 days later, I come across a listing on like Craigslist. The guy gets back to me. You just can't make these things up, like how it worked out. It wasn't even supposed to be $800, but because his son, who graduated from college, was no longer in the state, it was just sitting there. He priced it like that with the understanding that he was going to raise it $100 every year. What are the odds that it was exactly the price I said that I wanted it for? Was $800, no more than that. And at that time, my job was restructuring, and I was going to get more work on my plate, which means I was going to be getting increases over time because of how it was going to be happening. And so I was able to explain that to him so that he wasn't concerned about my ability to pay the rent. Like the way things lined up, you can't make this ish up. You can't make it up. And then he even was like, we can even talk about like your rent going towards you owning it if you think you want to buy it. But essentially I wound up moving back home to my home state just because of what was going on with my family and in my own life at the time. But it was just such a fresh, exciting, aligned, positive, enjoyable time. Miracles and magic were happening for me. So now I'm going to go back to the bow on top, because I think the connecting factor, if I haven't already said this, is you. Literally, like, you are the miracle. You are the magic in so many ways, on so many levels. But I'm not going to get into that right now. But like literally, like you're it, right? Like you're the key. You're the thing that decides what degree or level of miracles and magic you experience. So I know I kept saying It's your, thoughts, your feelings, right? I just wanted to just give some more real life examples of the things that I have experienced, like meeting the right people at the right time for jobs, and like, I mean, this would be too long if I sat here and just broke down like how it just didn't even make sense that would even work out that way, but that's crazy. It did, right? I know I'm not the only one. I'm sure you have examples in your life. Actually, I'd love to hear about them in the comments. I think there's something wonderful about spreading the energy of miracles and magic. So if you have like a quick story, look, take as much time, space, whatever as you want or desire, child. I love reading stuff like that. And it spreads, right? When other people get to read what's possible, when people get to see examples, right, of things just working out, that energy spreads, that magic spreads. So please do that. But yeah, that's how I wanted to just wrap this up, is just reminding you, if you didn't already know, then I'm letting you know. And if you've forgotten for any reason, then this is your reminder that you are the magic. You are the magician, right? And at any given point in time, you can decide. And this may feel like a stretch, and there will be times when it is, and you may not be able to do it right away, but it is always, always, always possible to experience what you desire. It is always possible to experience what you desire, to line up with what you really want. It is always possible, because it's a matter of you choosing. Like, that's how powerful, that's how magical you are. Oh man. Anyway, I wanted this to be short, so I'm gonna wrap this up. And I think I have no choice but to, if I haven't, because I don't know that I've gone into detail, but I feel like I have to do a video on, who that is. Who are you? Do you know who you are? Maybe you don't believe you're magical, and you have no reason to believe that because you don't know who you are. So, yeah, I think that's what's next. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Anyway, I've taken up enough of your time for now. I gotta get going. Thank you so much for being here. Hopefully this is like a little pick-me-up. I feel amazing today, so I always want to, if nothing else, spread the energy of that, right? To share that. It's infectious, and I love when I talk to someone else. I love when I see someone else and they're just smiling, and it does something. It does something. So why not, right? Why not be the light, right? I mean, I don't know about you, but I know that I am the light anyway. So I may as well own that. I may as well own it, child, and be intentional about it, okay? Anyway, I'll talk to you soon. Much love. Peace.